All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to crack open the code behind some of the biggest names in tech, and I mean the biggest. In just a few minutes, you're going to get the rundown on Python, the surprisingly simple language that's running everything from your weekend binge watch to actual space exploration. Seriously.
Okay, so let's start with a fun one. What could possibly tie together Netflix, Instagram, and NASA? I know, right? One streams your shows, one is for all your photos, and the other one, well, it sends rockets into space. They seem totally unrelated, don't they?
Well, the answer is Python. That's it. Every single one of those giants, we're talking massive companies, relies on this one programming language for some of their most important stuff. This isn't some dusty old tool for academics. It is an absolute powerhouse that's literally shaping the world you and I live in every single day. So what's the big deal? Why Python? Let's get into what makes this language so incredibly popular and, frankly, why it rules the roost in so many industries. Okay, I know what you're thinking. That sounds super complicated, but stick with me because it's actually pretty simple. High level just means it's written for humans to read, not for computers. It looks a lot more like English. Interpreted means the computer checks your code one line at a time, which is awesome for catching mistakes early. And general purpose? That just means you can build pretty much anything you can dream up with it. Bottom line, Python does the heavy lifting so you can focus on the cool stuff.
So what's the secret sauce? Well, it boils down to a few amazing things. First, it's super simple and easy to learn. The code reads almost like plain English. It's also completely free and open source. And it's portable, which means you can write your code once and it'll run almost anywhere. But its real superpower? Oh, that's the libraries. It's like having a gigantic toolbox where someone has already built almost every tool you could ever need.
Okay, so we know who uses it, but what are they actually doing with it? Let's take a look at the real-world playground where Python is the absolute star of the show.
Just look at this list. The variety is honestly mind-blowing. Python is definitely not a one-trick pony. We're talking about the backbone for huge websites, the undisputed king of data science and AI. I mean, this is the stuff that's changing our future. It's also the go-to for automating boring, repetitive tasks. And yeah, it's even a huge deal in the world of finance, running complex trading algorithms. It's everywhere.
All right, you ready? Let's pop the hood and see how this thing actually works. We're going to look at the basic building blocks, the real fundamentals of how Python handles information. And trust me, it's not scary. You'll see just how intuitive this is. So, first things first, the variable. This is the most basic idea in all of programming. And the best way to think of it is just a labeled box. That's it. So here, we're making a box, we're slapping a label on it that says X, and we're putting the number 100 inside. That's all. Now, anytime we talk about X, Python knows we're talking about what's in the box, the number 100. See? Simple. Okay, but what if you've got more than just one thing to store? Well, Python has you covered with 4 main ways to group information together. Think of them as different kinds of containers. And as you can see here, the big differences between them are all about, whether the order matters, if you can change things later, and if you can have duplicates. Let's break them down one by one with some easy analogies. First up, we have the list. Think of this exactly like a shopping list. It's perfect, right? You can add stuff, cross stuff off, change the order. You can even decide you need 2 cartons of milk. Duplicates are totally fine. And you see those square brackets? That's the signal to Python that you're making a list. Next, we have the tuple. Now this one is for information you don't want to change, ever. Think about something like GPS coordinates or the primary colors. Once you set them, they're locked in. They can't be changed. You'll notice it uses parentheses instead of square brackets. And this isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's a great way to protect important data from being changed by accident. Then there's the set. And the one thing you need to remember about sets is uniqueness. Everything in a set has to be one of a kind. A great example is a guest list for a party. You wouldn't put the same person's name on the list twice, right? If you try to add someone who's already there, Python just ignores it. No duplicates allowed. Also, the order doesn't matter at all here.
And last but definitely not least, we have the dictionary. And these are incredibly powerful. The best analogy is a real dictionary or an address book. You don't find information by its page number, you look it up by a word or a name. It's the same here. We have a key, like name, and that points to a value, like harsh. This key-value system is a super efficient way to organize and find related information.
So, how does a program actually make a choice?
Well, in Python, it's done with simple logic that reads almost exactly like English. Take a look. The code asks a question. Hey, is the number in the age box 18 or more? If the answer is yes, it prints adult. Else, meaning in any other case, it prints minor. And that's it. That's the basic way that all computer programs decide what to do next.
Okay, now for the really cool part. Let's talk about Python's secret weapons. This is what truly makes it so powerful. See, the secret isn't always about the code that you write. It's about tapping into the brilliant code that tons of other people have already written for you.
And how do you do that? With one simple command: import. I want you to imagine you're standing in the world's biggest workshop. If you need a very specific tool, are you going to build it from raw metal? No way. You're just going to walk over to the shelf and grab it. That is exactly what import does. It lets you pull in these pre-built modules, packed with tools for anything: math, science, the internet, you name it. And here's a perfect, super simple example. Let's say you need the number pi. You don't have to Google it and type it all out. Nope, you just say, hey Python, import the math toolkit, and then you ask for math.py. Boom, done. In 2 short lines, you've just unlocked a massive library of powerful math tools.
But what if your program needs to talk to another program? Maybe one that's halfway across the world on the internet. Well, that's where APIs come in. API stands for Application Programming Interface, but just think of it like a restaurant menu. You don't need to know how the chef cooks the food, right? The menu just gives you a simple list of what's available and how to order it. An API is exactly that, a menu that lets different software talk to each other.
And these menus use really simple action-oriented words. You get data if you want to read it. You post data when you want to create something new. You put to update something that's already there, and you delete to get rid of it. It's just like that. These 4 simple commands are basically how almost every app on your phone works, from getting the weather forecast to posting a picture.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, right? From the basic ideas of Python all the way to its most powerful features. So let's tie it all together and talk about what this means for you.
So what's the big picture here? The main thing to remember is this: Python is designed to be simple, making it one of the absolute best languages to start with. Its huge collection of libraries means you are standing on the shoulders of giants. You never have to start from zero. And when you combine that simplicity with all that power, the possibilities are literally endless. The barrier to building something incredible has never, ever been lower. And that really just leaves us with one final question, and this one is for you. We've seen what this tool is, we've seen what it can do, so now the question is, if you could build anything at all, what would it be? What problem out there do you want to fix? What cool idea is rattling around in your head? Because if you can imagine it, there's a really, really good chance that Python is the perfect place to start making it real.